Hey y'all, back at it again with a book talk. So, book talk that I'm going to be doing for this week is on a book called The Witch of Blackbird Pond by Elizabeth George Sperry. I'm going to be doing this book talk with a paper copy of the book because I happen to have one, but this book is also available on the ebook site that I sent you guys the link for. So, if you would hypothetically want to read this book, it is available to you. So, this book is historical fiction. So, it's about fictional characters, like these people didn't actually live in history, but it is set during an actual historical time period. Main character of this book is named Kit, and Kit grew up on the Caribbean island of Barbados, which sounds like a great place to be. And she was pretty rich there, raised by her grandfather until he kicked the bucket and died. And then, she's like a teenager, so she can't, live by herself. So she has to go live with some family who do not live in Barbados, but rather in Connecticut, which is not exactly the Caribbean. So she gets on a ship, she sails there, she arrives there. And when she arrives there, she also finds out that her aunt and uncle that she's going to be living with happen to be Puritans. Woo! So, Puritanism was a denomination or a branch of Christianity. It was very strict. Puritans were known for wearing very dark, plain colors, having an emphasis on hard work and being very good and those sorts of things. And they're known for being quite serious folks. And so Kit is thrown into this society and is having trouble, making friends, because it's a little bit different than her previous life. And so she happens to make friends with an old woman who lives outside of the community named Hannah. Problem is that the community believes that Hannah might be a witch. Burn her! Just kidding, but kind of, because Puritans also did not like witches very much. There was also a fear in the Puritan community that witches were people who would be possessed by the devil and then permeate communities and cast spells on people and make things bad for people. And so the fact that Kit befriends Hannah also makes things a little bit difficult for her in trying to fit into this new society. I'm going to be reading to you guys from just the very beginning of the story when she's first arriving. Which I have to find. Here we go. Perfect. Okay, beginning of chapter 1. On a morning in mid-April 1687, the brigantine Dolphin left the open sea, sailed briskly across the Sound to the wide mouth of the Connecticut River, and into the Saybrook Harbor. Kit Tyler had been on the forecastle deck since daybreak, standing close to the rail, staring hungrily at the first sight of land for 5 weeks. "There's Connecticut Colony," a voice spoke in her ear. "You've come a long way to see it." She looked up, surprised and flattered. On the whole long voyage, the captain's son had spoken scarcely a dozen words to her. She had noticed him often, his thin, wiry figure swinging easily hand over hand up the rigging, his sandy, sun-bleached head bent over a coil of rope. Nathaniel Eaton, first mate, but his mother called him Nat. Now, seeing him so close beside her, she was surprised that, for all he looked so slight, the top of her head barely reached his shoulder. "How does it look to you?" he questioned. Kit hesitated. She didn't want to admit how disappointing she found this first glimpse of America. The bleak line of shore surrounding the gray harbor was a disheartening contrast to the shimmering green and white that fringed the turquoise bay of Barbados, which was her home. The earthen wall of the fortification that faced the river was bare and ugly, and the houses beyond were no more than plain wooden boxes. "Is that Wethersfield?" she inquired instead. "Oh, no, Wethersfield is some way up the river. This is the port of Saybrook, home to us Eatons. There's my father's shipyard, just beyond the dock." She could just make out the row of unimpressive shacks and the flash of raw new lumber. Her smile was admiring from pure relief. At least this grim place was not her destination, and surely the colony at Weathersfield would prove more inviting. Surely, hopefully. We'll see. We'll see about that. So, if you would like to have fun reading about some Puritans and some witches, possibly, then keep this book in mind and check it out. All right, so regardless, I hope that you have a great week with whatever you are reading and that you guys stay safe and healthy. All right, over and out.